Confluence-based pre-market range breakouts are by far the easiest way to become profitable, and they work so well it almost feels like cheating. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on why they work so well and exactly how to use it every single day to get the same exact results that I do. You've probably heard of the pre-market range breakout or any breakout strategy, which is where you find a valid psychological level that gets respected as resistance multiple times or support multiple times, as you guys can see. And you wait for the break of structure to enter into the trade. But something that changed my trading drastically is actually the quality of the setup. And understanding that the probability of that trade becoming a winner is solely based on how much you align and how much you refine. And pairing a pre-market range breakout with many bullish/bearish confluences is by far the easiest and highest probability way to refine and align your strategy. Adding these confluences to my strategy, I've been able to increase my win rate over 90% for 30% base gains and above. But yeah, taking the base hits, but also home runs along the way. Here's what I mean. So most of the time we will take some nice base hits, 20% gains. But sometimes, as you guys can see here, here's one of the recent trades that I called out in the Discord. As you guys can see here, we took our nice base gain and then we see a beautiful home run the next day. These actually went over 1,000% here. Everybody absolutely printed inside of the Discord, but it's almost impossible not to be profitable with this entry model if you scale out and you manage risk correctly. Here's some of the members who absolutely print off of these plays every single day. So just so you guys know, I'm not capping. If you guys want to join this Discord, the link is in my bio. It's completely free. But yeah, let me show you how to actually apply these confluences to find these high probability setups every single day. So basically with all these confluences aligned, for example, you have your psychological level and then you see the break of structure happen, you enter into your trade just like normal. But when you have all of these confluences, it's going to make it so the breakout is even better. It doesn't fake out instantly and just a higher probability of you actually profiting. So if you enter into a trade with no confluences on like the trade for it to be bullish or for it to be bearish, you might see a break of structure and then just fake out instantly. Okay, you could still profit off that. You could probably be break even, but to maximize your chances on just getting a super good trade off of this break of structure, you enter in with a bunch of bullish confluences. Okay, most likely why the trade is going to be green, why the stock is going to be green on the day. You're going to see a bigger move to where you're going to scale out and take a bigger gain, a bigger average percentage gain. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys an example of one of the trades that I have recently taken. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you an example of one of the recent trades that I have taken, guys, here on AMD. So this is the same setup that I take every single morning at around market open. Okay, so it happens every single day. This is when the biggest moves happen in basically the first 30 minutes of market open. That's what I take my trade, and that's when I'm done for the day after the first 30 minutes with this strategy. So let me show you guys. So as you guys can see here, this is the line right here. This is a psychological level that we broke out of 240. We broke out of it with a momentum candle, expecting a continuation move after the break of structure for us to hold the 9 estimated moving average. So we entered in out of the money call options with a tight stop loss after the break of structure. Then we scaled out of our position on the way up. But what you're not seeing in this is the time it took to find the setup, the patience for all the confluence to align, and this is exactly how I did it. So the first step, what you want to do is you want to go to higher time frames. Okay, this is going to be the higher time frame confluence. You want to make sure that we are above the 9 estimated moving average. So to do that, you go to indicators, type in EMA, hit moving average exponential. It should pop up the 9 EMA close here. Okay, so you see this on the daily chart. This is the line right here. This is going to show us if we are currently trending upwards. Okay, so if we are above this line, as you guys can see, we are above it right now. We are currently trending upwards. Okay, you can also look at it, just look a bunch of candles green on the day. As you guys can see, huge trend up. Okay, so then you want to compare this to the overall market. Okay, so you want to look at the S&P 500, how the S&P 500 is performing. As you guys can see here, S&P 500 was in this huge downtrend. Okay, now we're spiking up just like AMD is in a nice uptrend. But you can compare that to AMD. As you guys can see, when the S&P 500 was downtrading, AMD was actually consolidating. Okay, so a bunch of bullish momentum. So when the S&P 500 starts going up, the overall market, you're going to see AMD absolutely explode. And that's how these outlier stocks work, because they're correlated with the S&P 500. You'll see every single day if the overall market is down, this stock is also down. Okay, same thing, vice versa if it's up. You know what I mean? So if you find a stock that when the S&P 500 is down, this stock is going up, it obviously has a bunch of buyers, and we could see a huge rally in the next coming days. And that's exactly when I'm going to be trading this stock. Okay, so we compared it to the S&P 500. You can see a trend up. Then what you want to do is get another Confluences, guys. This is a Confluence on the 5-minute chart, or you can do this on your phone before market opens. You want to see that this stock is more bullish than the S&P 500 inside of pre-market. Okay, so you can easily check this by just doing this right at close. We can see that at open, we're up almost 1% here. Compare that to the S&P 500, you can see that we enter in 0.13% here. 0.13%, and AMD has a bunch, is way more bullish, as you guys can see. It was just a straight trend up. S&P 500 pulling back instead of pre-market. Pre-market can show you a lot in how the stock is going to perform in the next day. Okay, so we have all of these confluences, guys. This is what I was talking about. When we have all of these confluences, bullish confluences actually, the trade is most likely more going to play out, okay, in your favor. All right, so what I look at this is if we have like 4 or 5 confluences on why the stock is going to be bullish for the day. Why is it going to be another green day? Okay, why my daily bias is bullish. I'm going to rate that setup as like an A+ setup. So I'm going to go more heavy. But for example, if I really want to get into a trade, if I'm only seeing 1, 2 confluences that the stock is going to be bullish and the breakout is actually going to be valid and not just fake out instantly, I'll rate it as like a B+ setup, B- setup. So I won't go as heavy. So for example, I'll put $3,000 into the trade if it's an A+ setup, and I'll put $1,000 into the trade if it's like a B+ setup. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Anything worse than that, if it's just 1 confluence, I'm just not going to trade. I'm just not going to trade that day if there's not enough confluences. But so much of the time when we are missing like maybe 2 confluences, we'll still see a absolute banger trade. And if you follow my trade live with me inside of the Discord, you will see that. You will see. I'll be letting you guys know it's an A- setup. Then you size accordingly, absolutely bank. Okay. I did not go over how we find the psychological level. So you can either find the psychological level in the past few days, or you can go to higher time frames. I'll show you guys how I found this setup on higher time frames. So as you guys can see here, this is AMD on the daily chart, just like I showed you before. So this is how you can find your psychological level. So just go into the past. You're looking for at least 2 touch points where we respect the level as resistance. If you're looking for puts, look for us to hold it as support. As you guys can see here, the wick goes up, rejects, goes up, rejects, and many other times. As you guys can see here, go up, rejects. That's 3 touch points almost around here, so about 4 touch points here on the psychological level, and it looks like we are going to break out of this on this day. So I added it to my watch list. Boom. And yeah, 5-minute chart, first 5-minute candle, market open, breaks out of the psychological level. I enter into out of the money call options, and I called it out for free inside of the Discord like I always do every single day. Okay, so as you guys can see here, called out 25 cents a contract, and this is how you scale out of your position. So you want to scale out 35% gain. We have 130% gain, 180, 300%, 450, 650%. I even did a giveaway. I profited so much off of this trade. That's why I'm showing this example. And here are the past 14 trades I called out before calling that trade out. But yeah, as you guys can see here, many times we absolutely print. These runners go over 1,000%. So yeah, you take your base hit and then you leave runners. So for example, if you take your base hit of around 130% average gain, you're gonna leave. Okay, for example, you profit $1,000 into the position. You'll leave $200 of runners. Okay, so just a few contracts. And then if those runners literally go to 0, which they're not, your profit on the day is still going to be 800. Okay, but if those runners go over 1,000%, okay, your $200 worth of runners is going to become your $200 worth of runners is going to turn into 2,000. So your overall profit is $3,000. Okay, so this is why I leave runners. And then you'll see past 14 trades that I called out. As you can see, 1,000%, 1,000%. AMD only 650%. But this is an old trade. Here is the most recent win streak recap that I have posted. So as you guys can see here, these Intel contracts went over 1,000%, Microsoft over 1,500%, and just as you guys can see, and it's not just me profiting off of these trades, it's also all of my members, as I showed you guys earlier. If you guys want to join this Discord, the link is going to be in the description of this video. So I call out the trades for free inside of the free alerts, as you guys can see here, with a 60-second delay on kick. And then if you guys want to join the premium Discord, you can get access to no delay alerts. There's a 7-day free trial, so it's completely risk-free if you do want to join that. If you're a little bit confused and want to have this model written down on like a PDF format, I'm going to be putting a daily bias guide in the description below. So literally click that link, put your email in, I'll send you the PDF. Okay, it's a 5-step PDF that helps you find these setups every single morning and predict that the daily bias is going to be bullish, that the day is going to be bullish, and your breakout is going to be valid. So if you're interested in that, link is in the description. Interested in the Discord, link in the description. If you like these kind of videos, put them in the comments below and put all your questions in the comments below. I will answer all of them. I will see you inside of the Discord. Peace, 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 peace.